Hey guys, welcome back to another Culture Boys discussion. I'm Pepe and I'm joined by Nathan. And this week we are watching the live action Death Note movies.
Hey.
Quite funny enough, the first one of these came out like 20 years ago.
Oh.
Which is like quite weird how like that is a thing that's like what was it? So the first one came out in June 17th, 2006. And we've weirdly chosen this year of all times to go back to watching these things. So it's like kind of like, oh, watching the Death Note films 20 years later, accidentally. We didn't realize this when we planned this episode.
Yeah. Self-inflicted pain.
Yeah. It's like it subconsciously was in our minds that we should do this. But I mean, I haven't watched these films probably since like I think maybe when I was in uni I rewatched some of them.
Oof.
But like I remember like that was like quite a while ago. It's been a while since I've watched these. How about you? Did you watch these or?
I think the last time I watched these was on Film 4.
Yeah.
And I might have been like 16 years old, roughly.
Yeah.
So for me it's been even longer, and I've only seen the first two.
Right, okay, yeah.
I didn't know there were more after that.
So, for context of this episode, we did watch all three Death Note movies.
Yes.
The first one's just called Death Note, second one's called Death Note, the last name, and the third one is Death Note L Change the World, spelt with a capital L in world.
Yeah, because L, you get it? Do you get it?
Yeah, it's right there. It's like, hey, we gotta force it there. But we've watched all three, and we're gonna be discussing these one by one.
Yeah.
1 and 2 might blend in together, but more than likely, we're gonna be discussing 3 at the end, which is a doozy, I'll tell you that. Shall we jump into this, Nathan?
Yes, might as well. So, Death Note, created by Sugaomi Oba and Takeshi Obata. The movie was released June 17th, 2006, as Pepe mentioned before. Runtime of 125 minutes. A battle between the world's two greatest minds begins when Light Yagami finds the Death Note, a notebook with the power to kill, and decides to rid the world of criminals. Thank you, IMDb.
Cool. Right. So, yes, I remember when I found out about these live actions when I was in my teenage years. And I remember like obsessing over, because I was obsessed with Death Note at this point.
Mm-hmm.
When this would have come out, and I was like, oh my, I've read the manga, or I'm reading the manga. I have to know everything about this. I want to get as much Death Note as I can.
Fair.
And I remember finding out that this live action movie had happened. And then I remember at the time, because obviously it's hard to find movies on the internet in general.
Yep.
Especially this one, which is like Japanese, like trying to get an English sub of it. I was like, where am I going to get? I remember the way I watched this first film was actually buying a DVD off eBay, which someone had clearly recorded it from Japanese TV and then put an English sub over it.
Okay.
And I remember, I think I must have bought this for like a tenner on eBay or something, and this probably cost this person nothing to make. They probably just ripped it off something, put it on a DVD.
Yeah, I mean, it probably cost them the price of a DVD-R disc. Like,
yeah, they probably probably print off an A4 using their printer and just stuck a thing in there, a DVD case.
Oh yeah,
because I remember having a really like shitty DVD case for it as well. So they put the effort in.
You bought somebody. You basically bought somebody's fucking pirate on.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it was.
That's funny.
But that, again, this was like before this film ever released in the UK. So someone took the time to obviously do all the fan subbing of it. You know, the typical fan sub with the translation bit at the top. We've talked about these before.
Yeah.
That was my first instance of watching this film. And obviously, yes, I had read the series at the time. I probably dabbled a little bit in the anime, but I mainly got into Death Note through reading.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your experience was with Death Note at the time, Nathan, if you had anything.
So I didn't know what Death Note was.
Mm-hmm.
And around the time I found these movies was around the time Film 4 was just putting, at least for a teenager, like, was putting all the cool foreign films on, you know?
Yeah.
That was around the time I watched, like, Battle Royale, Pan's Labyrinth, like, all of these foreign films that I'd, like, never heard of before.
Mm.
Obviously, kid me like I say kid, like teenage me like knew of Death Note. I'd heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the basic premise. I hadn't experienced it yet. So I just watched these movies because I was like, oh, cool. I just went for I was just watching film for because that's just where all the cool stuff was.
Yeah.
I remember watching this and just be like, whoa, this is so cool.
Yeah.
The guy writes in the book, and I was like, again, I knew the basic premise, but you know when you like know of the premise, you just kind of like, yeah, whatever. He just writes a name in the book.
So this would have been your first instant of getting any Death Note at all. You probably knew of it, but this is your first actual. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't seen clips of the anime. I'd never seen the manga before. Like,
Wow. Yeah. Incredible shit.
this was my first ever experience.
Yeah.
Like, people had talked about it near me, so that's why I knew the basic premise and stuff. But like, yeah, as my first experience, I was like, whoa. And obviously, that's I mean, I guess we'll just jump straight into it. That's like my first instance of seeing like at the time what I thought was like good CGI. Like that looked advanced.
At the time, it was good. Yeah.
In 2006,
It was good.
that like blew my, like obviously I
Yeah.
didn't watch it in 2006. I watched it later,
Yeah. Yeah.
like in I don't even know, like the 2010s or something.
Yeah.
Even by those standards, I was like, whoa, that's pretty good. Oh my god, and it kind of like looks like it kind of fits in. Like, oh my god, I was so surprised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though by today's standards, I'm like very Japanese,
Yeah.
very very Japanese.
You look at it now. Yeah, I think Ryuk, like we're gonna jump into, yeah, like you said, Ryuk in this is fully CGI, and like you said, at the time, that CGI was good.
Yeah, right.
That was good CGI, and it'd be like, whoa, it's here, and it's like that kind of thing. And it was impressive for this thing. And you find it for a lot of Japanese live action films, especially anime ones. The budget might not be the greatest sometimes, or like, so acting wise, you're probably not gonna get the best actors in. However, like, Light is played by Tatsuya Fujiwara.
Yeah, who's like one of the biggest Japanese actors. I actually think this movie or this like franchise at the time,
Yeah.
I think this must have had a pretty big budget
Yes.
because like there are a lot of like, obviously to me and Pepe, we're not that familiar with Japanese actors. I think there's quite a lot of really big names and stuff in it.
I mean, Fujiwara is like one of, for me anyway, like that was an actor I recognized. I was like, oh crap, he's in Battle Royale. He's in Death Note. He's in Rurouni Kenshin further down the line. He was in the Kaiji the Ultimate Gambler series. He was in like a bunch of these different live actions. And at the time, like this would have been, what was it, 2006, 2008, he would have been up there as a good choice of actor. And like this is when Death Note's at its peak as well.
Yep.
Like I don't know if the manga's still being published around this time, but regardless, 2006, Death Note is like one of the biggest things, not just in Japan. This broke it over here as well. People actively knew what Death Note was, and it still is regarded as one of the best series to watch when you're a beginner for anime and manga for Death Note. So to have this cast here, like I was just looking up like who voiced Ryuk, and it's like a kabuki actor, funny enough, who who voices him.
Oh,
So he does voice acting as well, but like that's an interesting choice, I think, for it, which is
of all the things I would have been like kabuki actor. Yep.
yeah.
Totally, man. Totally. For
Yeah,
what?
it's,
A Shinigami? Definitely what I want is a kabuki.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's a bad one, isn't it?
I mean, he did a good job. Like, that's actually one thing I do want to mention, though, is that, like, at least for a vast majority of it, I felt like normally Pepe and I will call out, like, the trope of Japanese acting is very over the top,
Yes.
overly expressive, and, like, just overly everything. But this, minus a couple of things, which, obviously they still try their best to stick to source material for a lot of it, or at least some of it, right? I felt like most of the acting, besides the dying,
Yeah.
was pretty good.
I agree, yeah, because it's like, Death Note is quite a serious series at the end of the day. I know L is quite an eccentric character,
Yeah.
but then, like, you have to play Light Yagami as a character who is like serious but has a set goal and is almost like the anti-hero here.
Mm.
And like you said, a lot of the acting is actually honed in. They play the characters really well as well. Everything's believable. This is like an adaptation which stays loyal to the series, but isn't afraid to make changes to make it work within this adaptation.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't fit the whole of Death Note into two 2-hour-long movies, basically.
Pretty much.
And so the adaptations, they do take liberties,
Yeah.
but they work at the same time. This is one where I'm like, okay, they made changes, but this is one thing I understood as like as a teenager getting into adaptations and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense actually. I can see why they've done this because like it would have to be such a more wider series if they did go straight down and made everything like the manga and anime.
Mm-hmm.
Solid adaptations, really, but yeah, like this is one that like you could give a pass. You're like, oh, okay, I understand why they did this. Acting's this decision. Like you said, the deaths questionable, but
I mean, fair enough.
yeah,
Nobody, and I would hope no one who was in the film actually has experience with a heart attack or heart attacks.
yeah.
So, like, obviously, when you don't know and you're supposed to die of a heart attack, and if you just get, the direction of
Yeah.
you have a heart, of course, everyone's gonna do the over the top, like clutch your chest and be like, oh, and
yeah. But then it's sometimes some of them go like, whoa. I think it was in the second film where the police officers are gathering around trying to
oh, dude, they died like Power Rangers or something, dude. They were.
There's one which literally falls to the floor and his legs just go everywhere. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like, bro, okay, yeah, chill the hell out, man.
He was fucking breakdancing on his deathbed.
Yeah, he put his heart and soul into that one. Every ounce of strength went into that role.
I mean, those officers, they must have been like Power Rangers extras or something. Like the enemies that normally get their butts kicked.
Yeah.
And every time something happens, you got to do like a flip or something. That's what that felt like. It was just like, oh, like now tumble right now.
Yeah, it is the tumble thing. It is completely that. Oh my days. But I guess like we could talk about certain changes here as well as we get into the series. This series of films, I should say.
I will have to preface this. This is all off of your expertise, by the way. I've still never actually finished original Death Note. So like,
really? What? Right. Okay.
I only know as much of the story as these movies have told me.
Right. Okay. So you don't know anything about the second half of the Death Note series, then? You don't know, like, obviously you know L dies.
Yeah, and through videos and stuff, I know there's a whole thing with Light loses his memory.
Yes, yeah, which is
And there's more Kiras and stuff. And that's about it.
Right, okay, so, for Christ, okay, there's a lot to cover here, then. Do you mind me spoiling some of the original Death Note stuff? Do you plan to get into?
I mean, I plan to, but let's face it. I've been saying that for probably like 2 decades now.
Okay, so, yeah, that's very true. So, I'm going to give basically you, Dave, for the rundown of what actually happens in Death Note. I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. And the main differences between this and the actual series.
Okay.
So in the original Death Note series, his girlfriend as well, what's her name? Shuri?
Shiori, yeah.
Doesn't exist in the original.
Oh.
So she's made up for this movie. Ray is called Ray Penba, so they obviously made him Japanese in this because it probably wanted to get a good Japanese actor. So he's Ray Kawamatsu in this.
Yeah.
And then Naomi is a different name as well, but she's called Naomi in this film. So
okay, that makes sense.
they made their roles a lot bigger in this first film than they were in the original series. So in the original series, yes, they were key characters, but they were nowhere as big as what they are in these films.
Okay.
Basically, Ray kind of is quite similar, to be fair. Ray's size is like, the role in this is similar to the original series. But Naomi is like basically a couple of like maybe 4 chapters at most.
Oh, okay.
Because she obviously wants to get revenge that Ray's died.
Yeah.
And she never really suspects that Light is Kira at all in the original series, basically. But she's like so honed in on him in this one.
Yeah, she like kind of figures it out way too fast in this one.
Yeah, but a lot of the stuff with Elle and all the other bits, that is very loyal. In the first movie anyway, all that stuff is pretty much there.
Okay.
You even got the bag of chips scene as well. You even had that, although it's much
Yeah.
more dynamic in the anime. As for the second movie, almost similar. The character Takada, who is the news reporter who wants to move up and ends up in possession of Death Note, is in the original series, but she doesn't actually make a prominent role until way later.
Okay.
In this one, they use her as a role as God. There's looking back at it now, there's certain bits I remember about Death Note and certain bits I'm like, oh crap, I forgot that happened. So same premise that Light asks Rem to take the Death Note away and give it to someone who's capable of murdering people. And what ends up happening is instead of giving it to one person, Rem gives it to a group of like 13 businessmen.
Oh.
And one of them is the replacement Kira, and the others decide who they want to kill.
Oh, okay.
So they all know that Kira's among them, but they don't know who's Kira, apart from obviously the replacement Kira and stuff. So there's an organization, which obviously they haven't included in this because it's so much more overcomplicated.
Yeah, that would be too much.
So they've used the Takada character, who's in a relationship with Light in the original series. It was one of Light's previous girlfriends, but they've made her a completely different one for this. Same setup in this, trying to trap the second Kira. Light kills him using the thing in the watch. He gets his memories back, blah, blah, blah. And then everything pretty much the same from there, except Elle actually dies in the original series in that moment.
Okay.
You know, where Elle collapses and stuff like that. And that's borderline where all the similarities close.
Okay.
Basically, from there, that last scene of the second film where they all gather around and find out that Light's Kira is very reminiscent of the final scene in Death Note, but you've got other characters that you got Nier, Mello, and a whole bunch of other characters that are involved, a load of other stuff. But that last scene is reminiscent of the actual ending of Death Note.
Okay.
So it's pretty much there, basically. That is basically all the main differences. I mean, the major differences between the series and that is basically there.
Okay.
There's a time skip in Death Note, and that's where all the other stuff happens. But obviously, they don't divulge into that at all, basically. It's all just takes part in the first half of Death Note, which people will argue is the best part, really. The Light versus Elle standoff is iconic, and that's why people say the first half of Death Note is the better part of it. That's a story for another time.
Fair.
But that's basically the thing of Death Note. So whether like you're a fan of these adaptations is completely, it's opinion based, basically.
Fair.
Some people will like these because of the changes they made and understand it, whereas some people will be like, no, this is garbage because they changed everything. So take that how you will with it, yeah.
Okay. So where do you stand on that then?
I still think that these are good adaptations. For the time, anyway. And I think it's like it comes from a place of understanding where trying to adapt a series it's hard to begin with.
Yeah.
We know that like to get it right, you could end up so badly in this whole thing. Like, but these are good adaptations. I don't think they're like the best. Like One Piece does it really well. I'm like, oh, okay, I might look back at One Piece live action in 20 years' time and be like, actually, no, I don't like this.
To be fair, even One Piece live action had to make changes and concessions. So
yeah. I think if I were to compare the two, I'd think, looking back on it now, I'd still think, like, watching these as a teenager, I thought these were the best things ever. But obviously, looking back after 20 years, I can see their flaws. I can see certain things that I am like, I'm not too keen on that. But I still think they're good. I'll still watch them again, probably. The first two, anyway.
I would still watch these.
Yeah.
And compared to a lot of the things we have got since these movies have come out to today, in terms of adaptations,
yeah,
these are actually not bad. They're actually some of the better ones, to be honest.
I'd agree, yeah.
And let's face it, right? This is the best Death Note live action we have.
Oh, God, yeah, okay.
Because let's face it, we don't want to talk about it, we won't mention it again, but like, just remember, okay, the best ones we got were back in the early 2000s.
That is so true. I completely repressed that Netflix one. That's like, I think it's down there with Dragon Ball Evolution of like some of the worst adaptations I have ever seen.
Yep.
So yeah, and then there's another like Death Note live action series as well, which I've never watched.
I've never watched that.
Funny enough, I think that's on Crunchyroll or something, which is quite interesting. Or used to be anyway. I don't know if it still is. But I've never watched that one, and I heard that was fine as well. But these original movies were, for me, like, and as Nathan said, now that he's mentioned out of all adaptations, yeah, this is like one of the good ones you can get.
Right.
This is like it's a top choice when you look at it. Yeah.
If you really think about it, weirdly, they kind of almost nailed it in 2006.
Yeah.
And then somehow we all collectively forgot how to do good adaptations for a very long time.
Yeah, Christ. I think it was like, when you look at some of the adaptations that have come after this, I think because Death Note is actually such a serious series and so based in drama, it can be done better and isn't as fantastical.
Yeah.
Realistically, the only thing you have to go out of your way to create is the Shinigamis, really.
Yeah.
And at the time, yes, it's the best CGI they can do.
The thing is, though, right? Even though it's like, to me nowadays, I'd say, oh, that's very typical, like Japanese style CGI.
Yes.
Especially if you've seen a lot more modern stuff where they have been trying to incorporate more 3D, 2D mixed media.
Yeah.
It is very reminiscent of when, like, for example, if you watch modern anime and sometimes you get that one fight scene or something where they're like, oh, now it's 3D, and you're like, that just felt a little strange there, just a little bit.
Yeah, sure, it's done really well, but it also takes you out of it a little bit. You're like, oh, that's different from the art style. That's like that's
But overall, again, for 2006, that's pretty good.
I think that's what we're giving the benefit of the doubt. Because even back then, I was like, whoa, this is cool. Like, I think you could look at a lot of Hollywood movies that do CGI worse than this at the time as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You can definitely give more of a pass. For 2006, you can give more of a pass for it here.
Yeah, and you can imagine the kind of like tech we had back then. Like, we've come leaps and bounds in the 20 years since.
Yeah.
So, like, of course, now, like, CGI is like on a completely different level. But again, like back in 2006, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing before that was probably like what, Toy Story?
Yeah.
The first like full CG movie.
Yeah. That was impressive there. That was
Do you know what I mean? Like,
God, there's like so. I'm trying to think of anything that was like on this scale. I think the closest one I can think of, because this movie stands out in my mind, is you remember the Mummy series with Brendan Fraser?
oh, okay, yeah.
And in the second one, there's a Scorpion King.
Scorpion
right,
King,
where it's
yeah.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But then he's fully CG in that movie. And at the time, I was like, "Ooh, that looks a bit rough." I was a kid at the time, and I was like, "Oh, maybe my teens." I can't remember, one or two. Yeah.
Okay, see, I was an actual kid when I saw that, so I was like, cool, oh my god.
Yeah, I think at the time, but then you look at it now, you're like, "Ooh, that's a bit rough."
I'm sure if I looked at it now, I'd be like, ooh.
This is better than that, I'd say. The Scorpion King one, that was a rough CGI.
Oh, I can imagine.
So I'd say this is better, especially since like the movements as well are quite like it's fluid and they work in a way that Ryuk and Rem actually do move as well. So like you see like the little kind of like the movements in their accessories or like anything when they're flying around, flying and transporting through walls is a little bit dubious at times. But again, for 2006, it's fine.
Yeah. I wonder if that was mocap or not.
What's that, sorry?
I was just wondering if that was mocap or if that was all just like actual, someone had to sit there and animate frame by frame or something.
Ooh. I think mocap, yeah.
Because if it was mocap, that would be really early mocap as well.
I'm not too sure. We'd have to look into it. But yeah, even the voices of them are really good.
Yeah.
It's like really well done. The voice acting in those.
Oh, you know what? I'm really glad, because I swear they would do this in a modern day. Someone would have this idea. I'm really glad that they just had their voices, right? Just the voice record, the actual audio, instead of like, someone in this modern day would be like, right, but they're like gods, yeah? So we got to put like a little reverb or something on there, and we got to make it feel like kind of little ethereal. And when you're like, now I don't understand a single fucking thing they're saying because you've gone too heavy on the effects.
They did it right at just the right amount, basically. It's where like, obviously, where Light's having conversation with another person and he can only hear Ryuk. So it's like, it's very slightly reverbed. So it's not like it's over the top with it or whatever. Or like when they're making a grand like announcement. I think it's in the first couple. I think it's the first scenes in the first movie where Ryuk appears. And then I think they do it again when
Yeah, Rem in the second movie.
yeah. It's always when they're addressing someone like humans, hear me now or something like that, yeah.
See, okay, in that instance it's fine, but like when they're talking normally, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's good. I can understand.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing, it's like a pet peeve for me. Like, I hate when we do things and we're like, oh yeah, but they're kind of like supernatural. So we got to do that whole like, like that kind of like ghostly reverb where where there's like a delay and everything. And I'm like, I can't understand a fucking thing they're saying.
Yeah.
This is stupid. Stop doing that. Fuck's sake. What was the point of putting audio if I can't fucking understand what they're saying?
They do everything really well with the Shinigamis for the time, again, expressly for the time. And I also want to give a shout out to obviously Kenichi Matsuyama, who plays L. He plays a really good L, to be fair.
He does, but this is also where he's very loyal to the source material.
Mm-hmm.
And it does bring you out a little bit because, Light and everyone else is like, you believe on normal people to a degree. And then you've got this guy.
Yeah.
Who does everything L actually does, which is great if you're a fan, right?
Yeah.
But when you don't know shit and it's the first time you see it, you're like, the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah. I think like obviously it works a lot better in the anime and manga, but like he does L well, to be fair. And arguably I think that's the problem that the English adaptation had with this, was that they tried to get L believable, but he's very, very removed from this kind of L. It's a very different character.
L is the most eccentric character in Death Note for quite a while, so like you should,
and he's a lot more scaled back in the
you should just let him be weird. I think that's the thing that worked with this interpretation in these movies, is that whilst everyone else was kind of a normal person, they leaned so far into L is who L is, and they went 100% with it that like you're like, okay, it just works because it's just that absurd. He becomes believable because he is so 100% unapologetically L.
Yeah, I think that's like it. I think that's what kind of the thing that like, this is what I mean by it keeps this series loyal. These films are as loyal to the original series as they can be within the restraints of it. They did what they can with it, and arguably, he puts it into a Japanese audience. I think that probably works really well. Speaking of L, this kind of brings us into the last movie that is almost a standalone to this. Dave, do you want to give a breakdown of what L Changed the World is?
Okay, so Death Note L Changed the World, released 9th of February 2008, 129 minutes runtime. Detective L uses the last 23 days of his life to prevent a group of scientists from spreading a lethal virus. Thank you, Rotten Tomatoes.
So, bit of context behind this as well, Nathan. This shit doesn't happen in the original series.
Yeah.
This is like filler, right? And the whole 23 days thing also doesn't happen in original Death Note either. So, because obviously L actually dies.
I know that now thanks to this episode.
So, what we have here is, the thing is, I thought I remembered this a bit. I do not remember this half as much as I thought I did. This movie is like, sure, it has the Death Note label on it, it has L on it. This is not a Death Note film.
Somehow this is weirdly more gory and gruesome than Death Note as well.
Yeah.
And like in Death Note, people are dying all the time, and yet this one they're like, no, because this is worse because we're spreading some sort of like
flesh-eating virus thing.
So some actual parasite that like just fucking makes you leak blood out of just every orifice, and like at times to me I was like, this is like verging on body horror, like
like, I mean, if the Japanese know how to do anything, they know how to do horror well. And this is people bleeding from eyeballs. They've like all the blood effects are like, whoa, that's like,
like nails are coming out and shit. That's what I was like. This is kind of a little bit becoming a bit of body horror. It's quite strange.
And like it's a lot of like, again, as these films are known for, a lot of death in this, I guess, which is another link, I guess. But Ryuk makes one appearance in this. He mentions, like, there's a brief mention of Light and Misa in this, like, very briefly.
Yeah.
But it's like, that is the only thing. And L is very much the main character here. And for what I can speculate, this was made because of the success of the first two films.
I'd imagine so.
I'm going to give my thing here, right? I'm gonna say this outright. I didn't like this movie. Watching it, I was like, this is kind of awful.
Oh, okay.
And what it felt like, right, was that someone wrote a script for something, and then they were like, "Oh, hold on. Remember those Death Note films they're about? Everyone, like, L's still alive, so we have potential to do something with that character. Let's put him in this. We'll make him the main character here, and we'll throw in some Death Note references here or there. That'll work. Yeah, let's go for that and ride off the success of the first one, and make sure it has those Death Note references still in there. L's the main character, but this is a whole separate script on its own, basically.
Fair.
This is completely out of, like, the L character keeps the qualities that he would have had in the first film, but, like, we've never seen L really investigate crimes outside of this, basically, outside the Death Note series. So I think there was a prequel novel that existed, which I read, and it is all focused around L and I think it was Naomi's partnership in this.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Yeah.
Because I actually watched these last night with some friends, and one of them was familiar with the franchise.
The book is called L Changed the World as well, but it's very, very different to this. Wait, hold on a second. Maybe this is different, actually. No, this might be a different thing. Because this is... Yeah, so the book that I'm looking at right now, L Changed the World, the blurb is basically what we described in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm like... But there's a different book that I read.
I was told about the prequel light novel from my other friend.
Oh, Death Note Another Note is with the book that I read.
Oh, okay.
That was actually L solving a murder, basically, like a serial killer thing. That was actually, like, I remember reading that in my teenage years, and I was like, this is actually a really good book. Like, I actually really enjoyed that. Again, maybe it's nostalgia goggles on that book. But this film, again, it must have been written for that novel as well. Whether this came first or the novel came first, I don't know. The film I thought was awful. I did not enjoy it. What about you? How did you feel about it?
I actually kind of liked it.
Did you?
Like,
Fair enough.
I feel like, I don't know if it's so backstory. These movies are quite hard to find.
Yes, yeah.
And besides trying to spend what we thought was too much money buying copies of these, which are only on DVD, by the way.
Not even on a Blu-ray, really. Oh, there might be a Blu-ray. I don't know. But yeah.
Anyway, too much money trying to find them. So I set upon finding alternative ways to find it. For the first two movies, I watched Japanese, right? So I watched the sub.
Okay, yeah.
And the last one, I just found whatever I could find. I did not realize it was a dub.
Right, okay, yeah.
And I think the dub added an extra layer of goofiness to what, in my mind, was a goofy Death Note movie.
Okay, yeah.
And now I kind of like it because it was one of those things where it's like kind of so bad it became good.
Okay, yeah, so that's the kind of thing with it. Okay, yeah.
It was so absurd and so ridiculous, and then on top of that was this just strange, like, it was a fine dub. Like, it was okay.
Dub was, yeah.
But it just added this extra layer that I was like, this is simultaneously one of, not the most gory, but I was like, this is a gory film that is also just incredibly stupid.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe because I know it's from the early 2000s that I'm like, it's kind of cheesy, but I kind of think it's funny cheesy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, really. I just kind of liked it.
I can see what you mean, especially with the dub as well. It is like a thing. And it kind of does. I think, because the thing is, I bought these on DVD way back when, because I think that may have been how I watched the second one, or at least how I owned it, because I owned this one on DVD as well, but they're back home in my parents' loft somewhere. So I was like, I'm not digging around for these, because arguably long buried somewhere. But I don't remember, like, I kind of remember Near, because Nier appears in this as well, is because it's his kid.
Yeah.
And it kind of like they sprinkle in because Nier is obsessed with puzzles and toys. So they had that with, oh, look, he's got a little robot and he's a math genius. And oh, he's like is basically L's successor. They only really say that at the end, really. But it is just like, oh, this was long as well. This was a long film.
Yeah, it was.
And there's like these characters which, apart from L, I don't really care about that much.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't care about any of them. There was only one character I cared about, and it's not even because of the movie.
Right, yeah.
So you know the little girl that L protects? You know her dad, the one that was making the antidote?
Yeah.
He is in Yakuza 0.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the only reason I cared.
Yeah.
Because I saw this man and I was like, he looks really familiar to me for some reason. And I spent most of the time he was on screen racking my brain trying to figure out where I'd seen him before. And it's because when you play Yakuza 0 and you start Majima's story, he has like an overseer, like someone who's supposed to keep him in check and make sure he doesn't leave Osaka. It's that guy. It's that actor.
Right.
If they have real actors, they just put them straight in the game, right? So I was like, that's why I've seen him. This is just in Yakuza. He was just way older.
That's the loosest connection possible.
Yeah.
Not even because that's interesting. That's fair though, understandable. Like, because I mean, realistically, when you look at Tatsuya Fujiwara, I think I would watch a film because I was like, oh, that's Light from Death Note in there, or it's Figure from Battle Royale. Like,
also, he was also in Yakuza. He was in Yakuza 6.
Was he as well? That's interesting.
He was quite important in Yakuza 6.
There we go. Like, see, like it's one of those ones where you're like, oh, I actually think this actor's cool or whatever. But like everything else in this film, I was just like, this is long. L like becomes like an action hero here. It's so goofy. It's sometimes where he's doing his little run as well to the to jump on a plane and that.
Yeah.
Because again, this is a really goofy moment in the actual Death Note series as well. Like when L first appears before Light, it's during his like college entrance. And at one point, L and Light play tennis against each other.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, we know that L is actually kind of athletic at times as well, despite the bad posture and sweets being eaten all the time.
Besides the fact that he sits like a friggin' gremlin.
Yeah, yeah. There's you just, yeah, okay, cool. L is actually peak physical condition as well, apparently, at times.
You wouldn't believe it from this movie.
No, you wouldn't believe it from the whole freaking series, I'll tell you that. But weirdly enough, it's like you watch this and like, how the hell is this guy running after a plane and cycling for so freaking long? And then you're like, technically this is canon. He does actually have quite good reflexes and stamina and stuff. So it's like, okay, fair, that's understandable there. But they don't explain that.
No, they don't. Because like that also confused me. You know, there's that scene where this group, the blue whatever, I forget what they're called, blue swans or some crap.
Whatever, yeah.
Anyway, you know, they like hack their way into L's like compound.
Yes.
And then, you know, like the little girl standing there and they're like, come with us, come with us. And all of a sudden, like the dude with the shotgun just gets like knocked on his ass by something.
Yeah.
And it turns out L threw something at him. And before then, you're like, I would not have believed this fucking gremlin of a person has any strength or ability to do, like, even throw that half that distance.
Yeah.
Let alone knock a man on his ass. No fucking way.
We barely see him do any fighting in the actual scene. I think the closest thing was like he gets in a fist fight with Light at some point. And again, there's a tennis thing as well, I guess. But in this series of movies, we never really see him do anything like this. So to see him mobile for one, moving away outside of his like little area where he's staying is different, very different. And I think that's why it feels like this movie is a lot more like takes the liberty of what we've already seen. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is why it feels like it's quite a very big change from the original Death Note movies and the original Death Note series as well. So it's like, okay, fair, I believe this maybe for a bit, but I just found the story so boring and like.
But the virus and culling and stuff.
Yeah, it's all this like, oh, like we gotta like sell this flesh-eating virus for 10 million as well as the antidote or whatever.
Yeah,
Also, 10 million is a really small amount.
I know,
for-
right?
I, I was thinking you're undercharging for this, is what I'm thinking. Like,
I didn't think about it when I watched the movie, but now you've mentioned it, I'm like, you could charge whatever you want.
you could charge a lot more.
You could basically be like, you give me everything or you're dead.
Yeah,
Like, I'm just gonna release this virus right in your office. And what are you gonna do about it?
yeah,
What is anyone gonna do about it?
yeah.
If you're like, I put it in the HVAC system, I've infected your entire building, so transfer everything to me now, or you all die. I won't give you the antidote.
Yeah, exactly. You just hold people, so many people hostage and stuff. All of it is just like, yeah,
I guess 10 mil is just a start because they're not exactly all about the money. They're like, oh, we're changing the world for some reason or whatever the fuck.
could sell for a lot more.
Well, the worst part is also that they were like, oh, they're a group of extreme environmentalists. I'm like, so you're killing everything?
Oh god, the little minion people that like had their boss originally was freaking annoying me as well. Like, I think there's a woman that like suddenly becomes like a massive gangster.
Yeah.
How like she's just like she at one point when she's taking a plane hostage, she's like, yeah, screw this child, or whatever. Like she like almost holds a baby hostage, and you're like, where the hell did you come from? I know you're like kind of one of the more evil out of the trio of lackeys here, but like you seem like much more of a supervillain than this woman ever was. Like,
It's not hard, is it?
yeah,
One of them's the nerd
yeah,
because early 2000s, so they're like, well,
he's always a nerd. Yeah,
the one that could just do everything that everyone else can't do. He was the hacker, he was the pilot, he's and then you just got other generic henchman guy who is like, oh, I'm down to do bad things, but I'm not anything more than a henchman, so I don't really do or say that much. And then obviously they were like, cool, we'll have the girl be the evil one, and you're like, cool. I love stereotype writing.
yeah. All of it is just, oh man, I just disliked all of them. All the bad guys I thought were really just like they weren't cool.
Like they played up that one guy with the eye or whatever. Like
Oh yeah,
he was unnecessary. Like he didn't do anything.
he was completely unnecessary. Yeah,
Why did we bother playing him up? He didn't do anything.
yeah,
The scientist woman was like way more evil than him. She did way more than he did.
yeah. He kind of felt like he looked evil. It's like, oh, okay, he looked like a major bad guy, but it's like, yeah. Because Kate, I guess, is the one that was like, she was also Watari's like protege as well, like along with Elle, and it's like, but she wasn't really that good. Like,
No. And like it was strange that like Elle kept trying to redeem her,
yeah,
considering she literally is like, yes, I'm the reason we engineered this virus.
yeah,
This was my idea. All of this is from me.
yeah,
And he keeps being like, but you could be a good person. Because Watari said that, like we could change the world. So he believed in you. So I still believe in you. Like, be a good person that he saw in you? And she's like, but like, I did this. This is all my fault. And he just kept being like, yeah, but like Watari and like, come back to the light side. I was like, dude, just give it up. Come on.
yeah, man.
Despite all that, for some reason, again, I still enjoyed it.
You still enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like you said. Like sometimes a movie is so bad that it's good in a way. I think that's like the reason why I like kind of Sharknado and stuff like that, because that is a really goofy film. Funny enough, I think the CGI and
Now that you've said it, I think this is my equivalent. I think this is my Sharknado. Elle Change the World is my Sharknado.
what a sentence. I think that's the first time that's ever been said in humanity. Elle's Change the World is my Sharknado.
Put on a shirt.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, that would be crazy. That would be such a stupid random shirt to have as well.
It's a great fucking line. Oh man.
Oh god.
That is basically the Death Note movies we've watched.
Yeah.
And I think part of me likes them a lot more because of nostalgia. First two, anyway. I think if I watch these for the first time today, I might think a little bit different.
Fair.
But I do still think that these are good adaptations. I still think they do a decent job for the most part. And I think I'd recommend people watch the first two.
Yeah.
Wouldn't recommend the last one. Unless you're like Nathan or really want a bad, good movie to watch.
Despite how much I did enjoy watching the Goofy L Change the World, I would also recommend watching just the first two.
Yeah.
I think they're actually pretty good adaptations. I also do agree with Pepe. I have some nostalgia for it. I did watch them when I was much younger,
Yes.
but like they're not that bad. They're actually really not that bad.
Yeah.
There are so much worse adaptations out there.
Given the considerations that it's 2006, Death Note was at its prime, and the acting is probably one of the better for adaptations like this, and it is done well for 2006. I know I'm probably giving an excuse with that, but that's my personal opinion with it. I would recommend these. I want to give one other thing that I wanted to shout out here, because the first two films, the main soundtracks for the opening and endings from are Red Hot Chili Peppers. The first one, and then this is Danny California.
I do not remember that at all, by the way.
Oh, I remember this. It's one of the reasons why I really like Snow by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, because that plays over the ending of the second film.
I see.
So I was like, oh, I associate that. And it's one of those weird things that obviously, yes, those songs were big at the time as well.
Yeah.
But you're like, what? And like the closest thing you could link to lyric, I saw this, I took this from a letterbox review, was one of the lyrics in Danny California is Papa was a copper. And that is the closest thing I could draw to it being a Death Note thing. that is like the one thing I'm like, oh, is that why they chose it? Is that the reason why they went for it?
My reasoning behind why they chose those songs was just because that's what they did.
It was big at the time.
That's what they did in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
They just picked, and this isn't just Japanese, this is all fucking the film industry.
Yeah.
They just used to pick whatever was like the biggest band, the hot, like what they thought was some of the best songs, and they would just put it in. It didn't ever need to make sense.
Yeah.
It's like one of my friends keeps talking about the original Digimon movie.
Okay. Oh, and it has Kids of America in it.
Yeah, and it's also got like All Star.
That's mad in it, yeah.
And Bare Naked Lady. Like, there's all these really random Western bands that have songs or covers in that movie, and I'm like, that's just what they did in the early 2000s. They just picked fucking music and put it in. Fuck if it made sense.
This is different as well, because I just want to bring this up, is that I think it's the second Pokemon movie. When you look at the ending credits of it, they go through a few different, and Boyzone are on there, they sing a song. It's Flying Without Wings, actually. That's what plays over the credits of the Pokemon 2000 movie.
That's amazing.
And then there's the Weird Al Pokemon rap as well, where he just sings every Pokemon and just as a Pokemon song, basically. And then there's a few others as well. But that is something I specifically remember watching the second movie. I was like, oh, they've got so many random bands and artists that were big in the early 2000s to sing over Pokemon the movie 2000 credits.
See, that's plenty of evidence. It was a time.
Yeah, it was a time indeed. I think this basically brings our episode to an end here. If Death Note is how you got into the Death Note series like Nathan, or you watched these ages ago and you enjoyed them, let us know in the comments. What do you think of L Change the World?
There's worse ways to get into things.
Absolutely. One of the more interesting ways to get into Death Note, I'll tell you that, especially as an anime fan. Just a heads up before we close this episode off, Culture Boys will be taking a break for a bit. We will be back at some point, but it's just we're going on a little bit of a hiatus. We will be back soon, but it's a TBC on that. Thank you for understanding, and thank you to listeners that do listen to us as much as you do. We do really appreciate you. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. But yes, this brings our episode to an end. Thank you for listening, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button for future Cultured Boys videos. Click the links in our description for all of our podcast platforms, and we see you guys next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.